Hello, welcome to House Lux Estate, your go-to channel for everything you need to know about wrestling and more. We're here to shed light on the ins and outs of professional wrestling, helping you understand what it really takes to step into the ring. Today, we're diving into 10 vital things you need to know before venturing into pro wrestling, from the physical demands to the love for the sport. So are you ready to dive into the world of pro wrestling? Here we go. First up, the physical demand. Pro wrestling is not for the faint-hearted. It's a world where agility meets strength, where stamina dances with resilience. It's a symphony of muscles, and you are the conductor. This isn't a realm you can waltz into without a solid foundation of physical fitness. Imagine this. You're the embodiment of a human powerhouse. Your body is your tool, your weapon, and your shield all at once. It's about strength, yes, but it's also about endurance and flexibility. It's about the ability to take a hit and keep going. It's about pushing past your limits again and again. Regular training is your new best friend. It's not just about bulking up, it's about staying in shape. It's about conditioning your body to withstand the rigors of the ring. Remember, being fit is not just an advantage, it's a necessity. Pro wrestling requires a lot of physical strength, so make sure your body is ready for it. Next on our list is the time commitment involved in pro wrestling. Like any other professional sport, wrestling demands a significant portion of your time. And it's not just about the time you spend in the ring. The hours behind the scenes are equally grueling, if not more. You see, training is a daily ritual. It is your foundation, your backbone. And it's not just physical. Studying opponents, learning new moves, refining your techniques, it's a never-ending process. But that's just the half of it. Then there's travel, from city to city, sometimes even country to country. Wrestling isn't a 9-to-5 job where you punch in and punch out. It's a lifestyle. You're always on the move, always on your toes. Participation in matches, promotions, and events is another slice of your time pie. And let's not forget the media interactions and fan meetups. The spotlight is always on you. So remember, pro wrestling is a full-time job. Be prepared to commit. Now let's talk about the mental strain of pro wrestling. It's not all about flexing muscles and executing flashy moves. It's also about flexing your mental strength and executing resilience. To master the ring, you need to master your mind first. Imagine being body slammed to the mat, hearing the crowd's reaction, feeling the sting of the defeat. It's tough, but what's tougher is getting back up, dusting yourself off, and stepping back into that ring. It's about handling losses with grace, taking criticism in stride, and turning it into fuel for improvement. Injuries, too, are a harsh reality of this sport. They can sideline you, break your spirit if you let them. But a strong mindset can turn these setbacks into comebacks. Remember, in pro wrestling, your mind needs to be as strong as your body. It's a mental game as much as it is physical. So gear up, not just physically, but mentally too. In pro wrestling, your mind needs to be as strong as your body. Moving on, we have the financial aspect of pro wrestling. Let's not sugarcoat it, folks. Becoming a pro wrestler isn't cheap. You're looking at shelling out for training, and that's not just a one-time fee. Regular sessions to keep your skills sharp are a must, and that adds up. Then there's the gear. From your wrestling boots to your costume, these items aren't typically found on the bargain rack. And don't forget about travel expenses. Unless you're lucky enough to live next door to a wrestling arena, you're going to be on the road a lot. Now let's talk potential earnings. The top tier of pro wrestlers can pull in a pretty penny, but for the majority, it's going to be a grind. Starting salaries can be modest, and only with hard work and dedication will you see that increase. In summary, pro wrestling can be a lucrative career, but it requires a significant initial investment. Next up, the importance of character in pro wrestling. Now, we're not just talking about being a good guy or a bad guy. In this context, character is about your on-screen persona. It's about who you are in the ring and how you connect with the audience. It's about charisma and the ability to engage with the crowd. Remember, wrestling isn't just about the physicality, it's also about the performance. Your character is your brand, and how well you embody that brand can make a huge difference in your career. Think about the legendary wrestlers. They're not just remembered for their moves, but also for their larger-than-life characters. So, don't underestimate the importance of character. It's not enough to just be a good wrestler, you need to be a compelling character as well. You need to draw people in, make them care about you and your story. In pro wrestling, your character can make or break your career. Let's now look at the role of promotions in pro wrestling. Promotions are the organizations that put on wrestling shows. They're the ones who hire the wrestlers, book the matches, and handle all the business aspects of a wrestling event. In essence, they are the stage on which you perform. The importance of promotions for a wrestling career cannot be overstated. They provide exposure, the opportunity to hone your skills, and often a paycheck. They're also typically the gatekeepers to larger opportunities in the wrestling industry. To get noticed by promotions, you need to stand out. This can be achieved through a combination of wrestling ability, character work, and sometimes just pure hustle. Attend wrestling seminars, participate in wrestling shows, and network with other professionals in the industry. Remember, promotions play a crucial role in your wrestling career. They're not just a stepping stone, they're an integral part of your journey. So make sure to give them the attention they deserve. Coming up next, the importance of networking in pro wrestling. You know, in this business, it's not just about the punches and the pile drivers. It's also about shaking hands and building relationships. Networking is a vital part of becoming a successful professional wrestler. Now, you might be wondering, why is that so? Well, let me break it down for you. Networking allows you to connect with other wrestlers, trainers, and even promoters. These connections can provide you with valuable insights, advice, and opportunities that you might not get otherwise. Imagine learning a new move from a seasoned wrestler, or getting a chance to showcase your skills in a major promotion, all because of the connections you've made. Sounds great, right? But remember, networking is not just about taking, it's about giving too. Be ready to share your knowledge, lend a hand, and support your fellow wrestlers. In the end, networking can open doors in your wrestling career. It's not just who you know, it's also about who knows you. Nearing the end of our list, we have the risk of injuries in pro wrestling. Now, let's not sugarcoat it. Wrestling is a physically demanding sport where injuries are not just a possibility, they're a reality. From minor sprains and strains to serious concussions and fractures, the ring can be a hazardous place, but don't let that scare you away. Safety measures are paramount in wrestling. Proper training, mastering the art of falling, and using protective gear can significantly reduce the risk of injury. However, even with the best precautions, accidents do happen. That's where health insurance comes into play. Ensuring you have adequate coverage is crucial. It's not just about treating injuries after they occur. It's about preventative care, maintaining your health, and ensuring you can bounce back after any setbacks. Remember, every bump in the ring is a risk. Every high-flying maneuver, a gamble. Injuries are a part of pro wrestling. Always prioritize your safety. Last but not least, the love for wrestling. This isn't just a hobby or a fleeting interest, it's a passion, a calling. It's the heart-pounding thrill of stepping into the ring, the exhilaration of the crowd's cheers, the rush of adrenaline as you execute a perfect move. It's the respect for the art of wrestling, for the discipline and dedication it demands, for the legacy of the greats who came before. This love, this deep-seated passion, is what will carry you through the grueling training sessions, the long nights on the road, the injuries and setbacks. It's what will keep you going when the going gets tough, when you question whether it's all worth it. Because, let's be clear, there will be tough times. But the love for the sport, the thrill of the fight, the desire to entertain and inspire, that's what makes it all worthwhile. At the heart of it all, your love for wrestling will drive your career. So those are the 10 things you need to know before venturing into pro wrestling. We've explored the physical demands, time commitments, and mental strains. We've discussed the financial aspects, the importance of character and role of promotions. We've also looked at the significance of networking, the risk of injuries, and last but not least, the undying love for wrestling. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to House Lux Estate